Hi everyone, I welcome you all for today's session. Yet another moment of inertia topic we are going to discuss, and we will get into the exercise right now and problems related to moment of inertia. Here a cross section is given. You have to identify the moment of inertia of this section, both its x and y axis. We have to identify the exact value of moment of inertia. To determine the moment of inertia, first we have to identify the center of gravity of the section. So this is an I section. You are having a 3 rectangle. So we can split it into 3 component, that is rectangle 1 and rectangle 2 up to. So this is technically known as flange part, and this is known as web part and another flange part. So 2 flanges and 1 web part is available in this section, and the dimensions are 400 is breadth and 50 is depth. So B is breadth and D is depth. Here for the second section, you have to note that breadth here is 50 mm. Always the x-axis is considered as B and y-axis is considered as D. You have to note that throughout all the problem, the x-axis you have to consider it as breadth and y-axis you have to consider it as depth. So this is 50 into 600 mm, and the third section is 200 is breadth and 75 is the depth. Right now we are having a reference plane of 1 1. This is the section of reference, and we will assume this at this as the origin. Let us solve this. First we have to identify the centroid. How to identify? Sum of area into distance divided by sum of area. So this is the formula for identifying that. Let us make a tabular column here, and we are having 3 number of component. So for each and individual component, let us identify the area. So the first component area is a breadth of 400 into 50, 400 into 50, and second one is 50 is the breadth and 600 is the depth. So second component. And for third component, 200 into 75. So all the area of the component is being added and it is 65,000. And next let us find out the y coordinates of each and every section. So we will find the centroid of each and every section with the reference plane 1 1. So for the first section, the centroid will act exactly at the center of the depth. So the depth here is 50. The centroid of this rectangle will be acting along 50 by 2, that is 25. So you have to consider with the reference plane. So if we consider from the reference plane, you are having 75 mm plus 600 mm. That is why 75 and 600 is being added. After that 50 by 2. So this is the centroid from the reference plane. And for the second section, which is having a depth of 600 mm, so the centroid will act at 600 by 2 from the reference point, which is 75 plus 600 by 2. So you are getting 375. Finally the third section, which is a depth of 75 mm and 75 by 2 will be 37.5. And let us find the AY here. Area into Y, 20,000 into 700. So you will get the answer for each and every component. And now let us find the centroid. So the centroid will be the formula to find centroid is sum of AY divided by sum of A. So here sum of A into Y is 25 0.812 into 10 power 6 divided by summation of A is 65,000. So if you divide this, you will be getting the centroid as 397.108 mm. So this is the centroidal distance from the bottom. So the overall depth is 600 plus 50 is 650 and 725. So out of total 725 depth, the centroid is acting at 397. So you have found out the y bar. What about the x bar here? If you split the section into two components, that is along with the x-axis and along with the y-axis. So if we cut the section along with the y-axis, the section is symmetrical section. That is why we can consider x is common for all the section, hence x bar is 200 mm. So the greatest dimension here is 400. That is why we have to divide 400 by 2 is 200. Next step is identifying the moment of inertia. So to find moment of inertia, we are having a formula. What is that? I is known as moment of inertia with respect to x-axis. So the formula is Ix equal to I11 minus a y bar square. Here right now we have to find y bar square and we have to identify I11. What is I11? Is Ix bar plus area into y square. We have to find the Ix of each and individual section. So for identifying that, we need a into y square. That is why we will square the 700 into, we will multiply the area. Let us keep ay in another column. Column is Ix bar. So this is the individual moment of inertia of the built-up section. So for this first rectangle, you are having a breadth of 400 and depth of 50 mm. For a rectangle, the moment of inertia along with x-axis will be bd cube divided by 12. This is the formula for finding Ixx for a rectangle. So this you have to get it from the previous module which I have explained that. So here breadth is 400 and depth is 50. That is why bd cube divided by 12. So 50 cube. So you have to find the individual moment of inertia of first section. Next, for the second section, you have to note that always x-axis is b. So 550 into 600 cube divided by 12. And for the third section, breadth is 200 into 75 cube divided by 12. So right now we have identified each and individual centroid. You have to add all the values. And next one, for finding centroid of along with the y-axis, it is indicated as I bar y. The formula is db cube by 12. So you have to shift the b and d along with this formula. So here db cube. So depth here is 50 and breadth here is 400. That is why 50 into 400 cube divided by 12. Similarly, d here is 600 and b here is 50. So 600 into 50 cube by 12. Similarly for the third section. So after identifying the individual centroid, you have to add all the component. So all the values is being identified here, and let us substitute in this formula. Right now we know the I bar x. What is I bar x? The summation of I bar x is 911.197 into 10 power 6. So this we have identified into the summation of a y square. So this is the summation of a y square. The answer is 1.404 into 10 power 10. So if you add the two answers, you will be getting I bar 11. is 1.495 into 10 power 10. So after getting I bar 11, you can substitute here 1.495 into 10 power 10 minus the total area here is 65,000, which we have already found out, and Y bar is 397.108. So we will substitute here and we have to square. Finally, you will be getting the answer as 4.691 into 10 power 9 mm power 4. Here you have to note that the moment of inertia unit is mm power 4. Why? Because the general formula is B d cube divided by 12. Breadth, the unit of breadth is mm and unit of depth is also mm. Here you are cubing the depth, so mm cube will come, and here you are having a mm. So totally the unit will be mm power 4. Always the unit of moment of inertia for all the section. It can be a circle, it can be a square, rectangle, anything. The moment of inertia unit is mm power 4. Next, when finding the moment of inertia along the symmetrical axis. So here the symmetrical axis is y axis. So if you want Iy, you can directly add all the component and you can take it as the moment of inertia of the built up section. Here no need to use the Ix equals I11 minus Ay bar square. Why? Because for a symmetrical section you can add all the individual moment of inertia and you can take the value as 322,916,666.7. Right now in this formula we have found out the moment of inertia of the I section along with the y axis as well as the x axis. Here by this answer you can observe that the moment of inertia along y axis is quite large. That is, the moment of inertia along the x axis is large and y axis is lesser. So if you are designing any element or a component with this section, you can consider the least moment of inertia this component will resist, and you can design a component so that your component will not go beyond the equilibrium condition. So this is why it is very much important to identify the moment of inertia along both x and y axis. Then we will take the least moment of inertia into consideration and then we will proceed the designing of any component. Let us see a practical example. Here you can see that if we want to rotate, if assume this as a component, this human as a component, if the human want to rotate quickly, what he should do is he should compress all the parts of his body towards the center. So if you draw a line along with the person, so the centroid will act and it will concentrate inside the body of a person. So if you fold all your body parts closer to the centroid, that is closer to your body, then the force which is required to rotate will be lesser and you can rotate yourself quickly. So if you stretch your arm and leg, it is very hard to rotate. If a person is keeping his arms and legs towards his body and if he is concentrated, it is very much easier to rotate him. So this is the concept you have to understand with the moment of inertia. So along with the x and y axis, if all the components are concentrated towards the axis, then the object has lesser resistance to twist. Also, if we are having larger element away from the centroidal axis, then it is very hard to twist the object. These are the applications where you can use. Next, we will go into another problem. We are having a section here. This section, you have to find the moment of inertia and the radius of gyration. Here in this problem, the x and y axis is given, and also the reference axis, that is 1 1 and 2 2 is given. So the 1 1 axis is horizontal and 2 2 axis is vertical. Always we will take left hand side bottom corner as the origin. So this is the reference plane. You are having a irregular channel section. Channel is a C section which has 120 mm by 10 mm and 12 mm breadth, and the depth here is 120 minus 10 minus 10. You have to eliminate the 2 component here. So the depth will be 100 mm. The last section dimension is 180 into 10. So let us find the moment of inertia and the radius of gyration. So for finding the moment of inertia, let us make this tabular column and identify all the component. We have to know that before identifying moment of inertia, we should find the centroid of this section. For identifying centroid, you know that you need a component of summation of area into y divided by summation of a, and to find x bar you need summation of ax divided summation of a. So first we will identify the area. Area of first component is 120 into 10, and the second component is 12 into the distance. The overall distance is 120, the elemental distance. So the second element has a depth of 10 and 10. You have to subtract this 20 mm with the 120 mm. So you will be getting 100 mm. So 12 into 100. So 12 into 100 is your second component, and the third component will be 180 into 10. So the total area is 4200. Right now we have to identify x and y here. Why? Because if you cut the component in along y axis, this is not symmetrical, and if you cut along with the x axis, the component is not symmetrical. So that is why you have to find x and y component from the reference plane. So first let us find the x component. Let us take this y plane, and x component of first element is total distance of 120 mm. So from the reference plane of y, the first element has a distance of 120 by 2, that is 60 mm, and the second element has 12 mm of distance. So the centroid will act exactly at center, that is 12 by 2 is 6. And for the third component, you are having a total dimension of 180. So from the reference plane, the centroid acts at 90 mm, that is 180 by 2. Let us identify the y bar here. Let us identify the y component. To identify the y component, take the reference plane as horizontal. From the horizontal point, the first section has the centroidal distance of 10 by 2. So total distance is 10. So the centroid of this component will be acting 5 mm exactly from this point. So we have to consider from the bottom of the section. So that is why the total distance is 120. You have to subtract 5 mm. So 120 minus 10 by 2, that is 115. And for the second component, so the component has a depth of 100 mm. So 100 by 2 is 50. 50 plus 10 is 60 mm. So 60 mm is the second component centroidal distance, and the third component centroidal distance is 10 by 2, that is 5 mm. Next, let us identify AX and AY. So area into X, if you multiply 1200 into 60, you will be getting 72 into 10 power 3. Like that, for all the component AX and AY, we have to identify. After identifying that, let us square area into X square. For calculating the moment of inertia, we need AX square. So we can multiply area into 60 square. Like that, area into 6 and area into 90 square. We will be getting AX and AY. And finally, let us find the IX bar and IY bar. For each and every element, you have to find the moment of inertia. So for finding IX, the formula is B d cube divided by 12. So B is breadth, D is depth. So here the breadth and depth are 120 into 10. So 120 into 10 cube by 12. The second component is breadth is 12 and the depth is 100 mm. So 12 into 100 cube divided by 12. The final moment of inertia along with the X axis is breadth is 180, depth is 10. So 180 into 10 cube divided by 12. For identifying I bar Y, you have to use dB cube divided by 12. So the depth here is 10 mm, dB cube is 120 cube divided by 12. So for all the component, you have to use this formula as dB cube by 12. So you will be getting I bar Y. So finally, let us find the centroid. For finding centroid, sum of AX by A. So sum of AX is, you are having 2.412 into 10 power 5 divided by A is 4200. So you will be getting 57.428. And for finding Y bar, A summation of AY. So summation of AY is 2.19 into 10 power 5 divided by A, that is 4200. Finally, you will be getting this answer. After finding the centroid, let us find the moment of inertia. Here the formula is, for finding moment of inertia with the x-axis is I11 minus a y bar square. If you need I11, you have to use I11 equal to summation of I bar x plus summation of ay square. So here you should add the I bar x, that is 1.025 into 10 power 6 plus summation of ay square. So ay square value is 20.235 into 10 power 6. So if you add that, you will be getting 21.26 into 10 power 6 mm power 4. You have to note that the moment of inertia unit is mm power 4. So if you substitute this value in I11, you will be getting I11 minus 4200 is area into y bar is 57.428. Here you got moment of inertia along with the x-axis. The same procedure you have to follow to identify the y-axis. And we found that the moment of inertia of x and y-axis. Here the least moment of inertia acts along the x-axis, that is 9.841 into 10 power 6, and the highest moment of inertia is along the y-axis. You cannot twist the component along the y-axis. You can twist the component easily along x-axis. So this is what we have identified. Next we shall find the radius of gyration. How to find the radius of gyration? The formula is root of Ix divided by A. So here we know Ix value is 9.841 into 10 power 6 divided by area is 4200. So if we divide that, we will be getting Kx. K is known as the letter indicated for radius of gyration. So its unit is mm. And also if you need Ky, you have to substitute Iy. So the IY value is 11.4077 into 10 power 6 divided by area is 4200. You got the value of KY. So right now you are having an example here. You can see that there are two wheel axes, the smaller wheel along with its axis and the larger wheel along with its axis. Here the moment of inertia for the larger wheel will be higher. Why? Because the moment of inertia's concept is area into distance square. So the circle has more radius, and for the smaller component you will be having less radius from the axis. So if you square the higher value, the moment of inertia will be higher for the larger wheel axis. That is why in a car, if you are having a larger diameter tire, you will be getting lesser mileage. Why? Because you need more force to create the moment, you need more force to pull the object. So that is why for a small tired car it needs less fuel to drive the car. That is why the moment of inertia concept is, even though mathematical, it has more application in mechanical, civil and many other engineering stream. So if the lesser the moment of inertia, you can twist the object more when comparing to the higher radius of the section. Next, let us solve the third problem, and here you have to find the radius of gyration of the section. So this is a built up section which you can simplify this section by considering it into a definite shape. Here you can see a rectangle component and a right angle triangle, and the third component is a half circle. So you can split this three component, and the shaded components should be taken as plus and the hollow component is taken as minus. Why? Because in the whole object you have to remove the non-shaded part in order to get your component. So the dimension of this component is 50 and 50 here. So the x and y axis is given, also the reference point, that is left hand side bottom corner you are taken as origin, and I11 and I22 is given here. So let us find the radius of gyration. If you want to find radius of gyration, you should know moment of inertia. Why? Because the formula is root of I by A. You need I is known as moment of inertia and area. Without identifying moment of inertia, we cannot find radius of gyration. So if you want moment of inertia, you have to know the concept of centroid, that is x bar or y bar. So everything is a sequential thing in order to find the end point. So let us start the problem. For the first component, to find the area, the breadth here is 100 into 55. So 25 plus 30 is 55. So 100 into 55. This is the area of the rectangle. And we can subtract the half circle. So the radius of the half circle is 25 mm. So for a half circle, let us divide it by 2. So pi r square divided by 2. So this we are subtracting. And the second component is a right angle triangle, that is half BH. Half into breadth is 100 and depth here is 30. So the area we have found out as 6018.252. And let us find the x, centroid of each and every section. So for the first section, let us find the centroidal distance along with the x-axis. So if we want to find the x-axis of the component, individual centroid of the component, you have to take the y plane as reference. So from the reference plane, the first component has centroid of the total distance is 100, so 100 by 2 is 50. So that is why x-axis is taken as 50 for first component. And for the second component is a right angle triangle. The centroid will act at 2/3 of its base. So the base is 100, so 2/3 of 100, so 2/3 of 100. Note that always the 2/3 will come from the 0 point of the right angle triangle, and from the maximum point it will be along in the 1/3 of the breadth. Next is you have to find the centroid of the half circle. So for the half circle, the diameter is 50, so the centroid will act along the center, that is 50 by 2. You have to consider the distance from the y plane. So from the y plane, 50 plus 50 by 2, that is 75. Now let us find the y axis, y centroidal distance from the reference plane of horizontal. For the first component, the total distance is, for this rectangle, 55 is the total distance, so 55 by 2, that is 27.5. For the second component, from the bottom of the right angle triangle, the centroid will act at 1/3 of height. So the total height is 30 mm, that is 1/3 of 30 is 10 mm. You have to consider from the base. So 55 plus 30 by 3. So 55 plus 30 by 3 is 10. So that is 65. And at last, for this half circle, if you want to find the y distance, that is 4r divided by 3 pi. So r here is 25, and if you substitute this, you will be getting the y distance of the third component. After that, let us manipulate area into x and area into y, and next thing is area into x square and area into y square. Let us find this and keep along with this. And next step, let us find the moment of inertia of individual section. So this is a rectangle section. We know the formula for finding the moment of inertia along with the x-axis is BD cube by 12. So here the breadth is 100 and depth is 55. So 100 into 55 cube divided by 12. And for the next section, you have to remember that for a right angle triangle, that is BD cube divided by 36. Here the breadth is 100, depth is 30. So 100 into 30 cube divided by 36. You have to remember that from the previous lecture. And the third component is a half circle. For the half circle, pi divided by r power 4 divided by 4 for the full circle. If you want for the half circle, you have to further divide it by 2. So 4 into 2 will become 8. So r here is 25. So 25 power 4. Finally, you will be getting this answer. So note here that you have to subtract all the values. So with this value, we are subtracting. So we got the sum of I bar x. And to find I bar y, db cube divided by 12. D is 55 into 100 cube divided by 12. And for second component is db cube divided by 36. D here is 30 and b here is 100. So 30 into 100 cube by 36. And finally pi r power 4 divided by 8 for half circle. So r here is 25. So after finding all the values here, let us substitute in the formula. So sum of ax is 301 369 divided by 6018. So this is the area. We are getting 50.075. And for y bar, the sum of ay, so divided by 6018.25. This is the area. We are getting 39.6 as the answer. After finding that, the ixx and iyy is found to 366, 424 is ixx that is I bar x and I bar y is 5066309 mm power 4. So here you should note that the I bar x is lesser and I bar y is higher. So this is the moment of inertia of the section. You have to substitute all the values is given in the table. You have to substitute all the values in the respective part. So let us find radius of gyration. You are having Ix is 2366424 and you have to substitute here divided by area is 19.829, and for finding ky you have to substitute Iy divided by area here is 6018.25. the value of kx and ky is being found out. Note that if the moment of inertia is less and the kx will also be lesser than the Iy. So this is a concept you can understand by this example. So note here that this is a human and his centroid is acting at the rib part of this human. If he stretches his arms, note that his radius of gyration has a lesser distance. So radius of gyration is distance from the centroid towards the center point of the top portion. So this is the top portion, the center point or the centroid of the top portion is acting here. And if a human stretches his arms here, you can note that the radius of gyration distance is increased. So this is a concept you have to note that if more the extension away from the centroidal axis, then you will have more radius of gyration. If more extension is along with the lower part and the upper part, you can find the difference. So this is the concept of radius of gyration. So I hope you have understood the concept of moment of inertia and radius of gyration by this topic. Understand the concept, try it yourself to identify the moment of inertia by yourself for different sections, then you will be able to understand the concept. Happy learning. See you again. Thank you.